Hello, welcome to Joshua Generation Church. My name is DeLeons,
And my name is Tracy.
and today we have a very special live, and we will be talking about our 10th year anniversary. We have our lead pastor, Pastor Jean-Marc, and Pastor Stanley. How are you doing?
I'm fine, Delions. I'm excited.
Of course you are. Pastor Jean-Marc, how are you?
I'm fine as well. I don't know if I'm that excited, but I'm fine.
Okay, so they're excited, like you, yeah, like you heard them saying. So if you have any questions, make sure you put in the chat. We will try to answer them at the end.
Alrighty, so let's get to the first question. Pastor Maman Sandrine, How did you meet, and how long have you been married? I guess we'll start with you, Pastor.
We'll get two different stories, I'm sure. But I'll let her win. We've been married 21 years. 21 years. We've known each other for 23 years. Okay. And how did we meet? We met at church. She was serving at church, loved the Lord, and yeah, that's how we met. One day I woke up and I guess the Spirit enlightened me, and I look at her. I'm like, I think I can live with this the rest of my life. And so far, 21 years.
Okay, and Mama Sonia, I saw you nodding. So was he right? Is
Yes.
this how? Okay.
For this time, yes. It was right. We've been married for 21 years. We met 23 years ago, and we have 4 children, 4 boys.
Okay, so he said one day the Lord enlightened him, and he said he could live with you for the rest of his life. What was it for you? Was it the swag? Was it,
The spiritual swag.
Okay.
So no regrets, right?
No regrets.
Okay.
Okay. So my question is most toward Pastor Jean-Marc. So if you were to start all over, what would you say to your young self, like when it comes to ministry?
Ooh. I think one of the things is be patient, not rush things. Because I learned, one of the things that I learned through the years, that time is the test, the ultimate test for many things. And especially our calling has to deal with people. And so to know people, to know who to trust, or not even to know who to trust, but to know if they're cut for this, they're built for this, it's time. And then I'll say, if I have to add a second thing, is listen to my wife more.
Always listen to your wife.
No, I'm really serious, because she turned out to be right so many times that I could have avoided some of the mistakes that I made if I had listened. So I think that would be my second thing.
Okay, make sure you listen to your wife. That's what I remember.
I like that.
I hope somebody's watching.
I was
too.
about to say the same thing. Are you talking to the public or to
Right?
somebody specifically?
Okay, so Pastor Sonlin and Pastor
Yes,
Jean-Marc, this is going to be for both of y'all. So take a minute. I know it's hard sometimes to take a minute to think about something that you're proud of. What is one accomplishment that you're proud of that many don't know? It can be ministry, it can be home, it can be, career. Name one thing that you're proud of yourself for.
Okay, this is a very hard question for me because I think I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
I've been through so much. That's where I am today. It's the grace of God. So one thing that I'm very proud of is the fact that I'm keep on trying, like every day, every time, and then because it's not easy, and the reason I'm saying that is because it's so many different areas in my life that if it was not the courage and the strength that God has been giving me every day, I've been giving up on so many things. So one of the things is my business. I know a lot of people know me as Maman Sandrine, Pastor Sandrine, this lady that shouts and screams at church, that jumps and, that prays loud. But I do have a event decor business, and it's not easy, especially after COVID. A lot of people, I saw them closing their business door, and the fact that I'm still having my business, I'm proud of myself, because you just don't know how many times I was thinking about just stopping everything. And so it's one achievement that I'm proud of.
And for all of you guys watching, if you're ever looking for a decoration or anything like that, she literally elevates any
She's
room
the
that she
real.
touches. Literally.
Yeah.
Glorious
Design and decor.
Yes, ma'am. What she said. Okay, and Pastor, what about you? one accomplishment that maybe we don't know about that you're proud of?
I think you know about it. So I don't have no secret accomplishment. I lay it all out there. But I think the man I've become, yeah, when I look at what I used to be before I know the Lord, to who I have become, I could have never imagined that. And so I don't give myself the credit at all, because I know it's only possible because of God. And so who I've become is that husband, being married for 21 years, and faithfully married.
He said faithful, guys.
Amen.
And yeah, and just deal with it. It's been ups and downs, but just to stick to it and to know that, this is what I was built for, and this is what I need. I can't lose it. And also, in the same way, what I represent to people, to some people, it may not be a lot of people, it may not be mega, but to some people, I am the change maker in their life. For some people, I am that voice that brings them to line. To some people, I am that voice that put them in the right path. And so just to be that, because I was the opposite of all of that, and none of that could have been possible if not God. So to see the before and the after of my life, I'm proud of myself. And when I meet some people that I knew then that still struggle with this certain part of their life, and to see that I have achieved it, because sometimes you take your achievement for granted because you always have more to achieve. But when I look at what I become, even as a man of God, as a husband, as a human being, I think it's my greatest accomplishment. With
You
God,
heard
of
them?
course.
Well, you heard them. So my question is for both of you guys, actually. I'm going to start with Pastor Sandrine.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you make time for self-need? We have a church, you have your own business. How do you separate that? And then you have family too. 4 boys.
Okay. Okay. It's not easy at all. I know, it's a question that I get a lot because apparently when people look at me, they feel like I'm balanced. By the grace of God, I'm trying, but it's not easy to set your priorities, to know what is important, what is necessary and what is not. That's really the key. That's really the key to have that balanced life, because like the Bible say, I don't know how to say that in English. So, tout m'est permis, mais tout m'est pas utile. So, yes, I can do everything, but do I really have to do it right now? Yes, I have the power to do this, but do I really have to do it right now? Or what I'm doing right now, is it very important? Is it necessary for me to do it? So I think it's the key for that balance is to set your priorities, to know what is important. And of course, how do you know what is important? It's if you know your vision, the reason why you're living, why you've been called to do. If you don't know that, it's going to be hard for you, because you're going to be balanced left to right. You'll just be following people, okay, this is trending, let me do this. This is what everybody does, let me do that. Let me try this because they say this job pay $20 and you're not spending time with your family. Let me do this because they say you're going to get rich in 6 months and you're losing contact with your family. So it's to set your priorities according to your vision, your destiny. What do you want to achieve at the end of the day?
All right, so you got to set your priority. So Pastor Jama, no cheating.
No, I think it came with time. I was very bad at it, and I think I'm getting better. And so I'm glad that I caught it before it's too late. Especially in our line of work in the ministry. If you're not careful, you will think that Jesus, you're the one who died for the people, and people will always place a demand on you. And people are not sensitive to us, not because people are bad people, but because of what we portray, to be strong and to be present. And so people know that they are people of God. So what God uses us to do, they confuse it with ourselves, you know. And so people will always put a demand on you. And so it's the discipline to know where to put the boundaries. There was a point of time where after service, we will take half of the church home with us, you know, just because we enjoy their company. And so we'll take them home and they'll enjoy our company, so they don't want to go home. And so we'll go there, hang out till 11 p.m. And it was a good bonding time, good family time. But what we realize is by the time they leave, it's 11 p.m. She's tired, I'm tired. The kids, every time they're daddy, but we're talking. So we don't have time for the kids. And then Monday, there we go again. They go to school and then we go back to ministry. So we had to set boundaries to discipline, even though I want to say, hey, Deliance and Saveli, you know, let's go hang out home. But I understand this is Sunday. We just finished service. This is a time that we spend with kids. We know that now we go eat together, spend some time with them, and then just go home, chill, and relax. You know, so you discipline, and no matter who invite us, we know that this is our time. And also, we don't jump at everything that comes, you know. If somebody, Pastor, I really need to talk to you. If it's Monday, it's our day off. I'm not coming. You know, we put you on Tuesday. And you're not going to die. And plus, Jesus is with you. You know, he's the one who died for you. I didn't. I can pray from far. But so that's just that. To begin to realize that the priorities, what matters. You know, our children, and like I say, I'm glad we got it. It's not too late. Because our children need us. And the more we spend time with them, the more we talk to them. Because with kids, they won't tell you everything. Some things you need to catch it. And you catch it by being present, by being around. And then also by you showing them interest. I was shocked the day one of my son told me, but you guys are too busy. So the kids feel like we're too busy with the whole world except with them. So to me, it was a wake-up call to just know how to prioritize. So I try to plan my day and do what is a priority. And if it's not a priority for me, if it wasn't planned and it's gonna come disturb my family time, I'm not doing it. You know.
Can I add something also as he was talking? You know, and I think also in all that you need to be organized. You know, and that's one thing that I see that a lot of people are struggling with. Just organizing your day. That's where you need to start, you know, especially ladies. You know, there's one thing that I have noticed with women is like they just wake up and they just go with the wind, you know. Okay, this one is calling me, or I heard that they have sales here and I'm going there. But you need to organize your days, you know. That's where you need to start, with one day, a week, and then you add a month, and then a year. That's where at the end of the year, you can look at your year and see what you did, you know, and what you haven't done, that you can push for the following year. So organizing as you are setting your priorities, you know, to help you stay focused to your vision, it's very important.
So if you don't remember anything they just said, so organizing, setting boundaries, and also prioritizing what's important.
Yes.
Good summary.
Okay, so get you like a little calendar or
Yes.
you know, iPhone. I mean, all
And the
phones
phone,
have, right?
yeah.
Like literally
Reminders.
Exactly. So I like that. Okay, so we keep talking about vision. I keep hearing vision, vision, vision. So, Pastor, the visionary of this church, can you tell us, how did JGC come about?
Well, the vision came about after I felt the calling over my life, and we felt like God was calling us to attend to young people, and I had my mother-in-law, my wife's mom, who was a very intelligent woman and organized woman. So she told me, the way this thing is going, you need to organize it. You need to structure it. And so we at that time, you know, I had no ambition to pastor a church, so we built it first as a ministry, where we gather young people in the city, and minister to them, and where some parent, as the reputation start going, they will come to us for issues with their children. And so the name, I was thinking the other day, how did we get the name again? It's my mother-in-law. We sat, and he asked me, what do you see? What is your vision? And so I talked like for 30 minutes. She was just writing. And so when she gave me my whole vision in writing, and when it came to name, he said, what you are saying, and because I used to talk about the book of Joshua a lot, and so he gave me 4 or 5 names. And when I read Joshua Generation Church, at that time it was ministry, I was like, this is it. And so that's how the name came about. I think it was, we just got married at the time. It was 2003. 2003. So that's the first time we started Joshua Ministry. And then when we started our first church in Raleigh, North Carolina, we called it Joshua Generation Church. And then we came back here, went back to our old church with our pastor. And then when it was time to establish this one 10 years ago, we call it again Joshua Generation Church, because it really embodies what we call to do, is to train a generation that will know their identity and that will go after their God-given dream. And Joshua's vision was to gather the children of Israel and to lead them to the promised land and to divide the inheritance unto them. And so that's really what I feel like we are called to do, to discover the potential, to train the people, to equip them, and to lead them toward their God-given destiny or their promised land. I don't know if you want to add something to that.
I like that.
Yes, and I think it's very important, you know. It's sad, what saddens me the most is to see how people struggle, you know, especially the youngest generation. And the reason why, it's just because they don't know what is their dream. Or sometimes they know what is the dream, but they don't have mentors. You know, people that will be there to encourage them, people that will help them not fall into distraction, life distraction, because especially when you're young, there's a lot of distraction going out there, you know. And I think that's what God is using this ministry to do, you know, to help the younger generation. It's true that we're talking about young people because we feel like that's where God has been calling us all those years, but it's actually for everybody. Really to know who you are. Who am I? What do I carry? And as I know, I have to live that life. That's the second part. It's knowing, but also acting, you know, living that life, because that's where you're gonna find the joy, fulfillment, happiness. You know, it's not money that will give it to you. It's not people that will give it to you, but it's inside of you. You have to dig and know it and live it. So, yeah. And that's what Joshua did.
That's what Joshua does, still doing.
Amen.
Okay, so I like what you guys said. So how did you know, maybe for a young minister who God gave them a dream, you know, I know that I want to serve, I want to, I don't know, maybe pastor a church or something like that. How did you know it was, at the time, the younger generation and not, you know, older generation? Or how did you know? How are you positive that I'm supposed to lead the younger generation?
It's easy because I didn't like it.
Oh.
You know, so I didn't like the young people because I really felt like the young people gave me at the beginning, because I was trying to discover myself. And so I have friends at that time who pastored 40 years old, 50 years old people, even though we were just in our early 30s. And so to me, that's what I was seeing, you know, having those responsible people come to me and me being their pastor and their leader. But it doesn't matter what I did, I only attracted the young people. You know, I would be invited in a church, and I would preach to the whole church, but the young people will be drawn to me, and parents will be surprised. Like, my son don't like to come to church. And we came to the first date. Today, he's the one who pulled us. We need to go. And they're asking to meet with me. And so I always had that bond with the young people, and they are who are attracted, and without effort. And sometimes I would just talk, and they would just say, "Oh, you touched me, you changed my life." And So I realized that God was telling me, this is your group target. But what I used to feel has completely changed. I think it's the best people to lead because they still have time and they are still can be changed, adjusted. And so I feel like everything I missed, I can reproduce that. So the devil didn't really stop me because I'm doing what I was supposed to do through this generation. And so, yeah, that's how we knew, you know.
Great answer. I like that.
Okay, so my question is, we know we just talked about like this is 10 years ago, if you can remember. So what are some of the difficult moments that you guys encountered like right at the beginning of ministry, of starting like this?
And be very transparent if
Okay.
you can.
Like here in Dallas or in Raleigh?
I would say in general.
In general,
Well, let's talk about here because it's the 10 years over here.
So the
Yeah.
10 years here. Okay, so let's talk about here.
so I will start with me personally. It was to make sure that he heard from God. You know, because he told me one day that, okay, I think we're going to start a church. So after the Raleigh experience, you know, we started in the glory. Everything was fine, but the way we ended was a little bit sad. So I just wanted to make sure that he heard from God. So that was the most difficult part for me because I wanted to make sure that as we are starting this thing, is God in it, you know? And one of the signs was a spiritual parent, of course, you know. I remember when we went to tell them, of course, we didn't just tell them that we were leaving. We started sharing from the moment God spoke to us. You know, we went to see them and share the dream, the vision, the conviction, and they've been praying with us. And I remember our spiritual mother telling us that she had a dream, you know, about this moment, and she thinks that it's from God, and we should go and start it, you know. So for me, knowing that we had the supports, you know, spiritual support was big because it was not easy in the beginning, you know, especially financially. We had to find a place because one of the things that we told ourselves is like we don't want to start those meetings in our house, you know, just because, again, like we talked earlier, the boundaries, the vision, what do you want? You know, we didn't want to lose that family bond with our children, with our marriage. So we want everything to start outside of the house. So we had to finance, you know, all those meetings that we had in the beginning, you know, and that was not easy because, you know, it's not like we're rich, and back in the day we just had regular jobs like everybody. But just the fact that out of our pocket we had to put some money on the side to make sure that a room was reserved at the hotel every Sunday, you know, before even start receiving offerings from people because people didn't know what we will bring, you know. Yes, we had a lot of young people, but back then those young people were like 15, 16, 17, no jobs. They're depending 100% from their parents. So we needed more responsible people, but who will come to us because they're like, oh, those are the our kids, pastors, you know, yeah, they look great. Yeah, we'll send the children. And it's true, in the beginning, a lot of parents would just drop their kids in front of the church.
Like a daycare a little bit.
Exactly.
You deal with them.
You know, and with $1 offering, $2 offering, and we had to pay them. So for me, it's not like it's all about money, but I think it was something important for us to be consistent. And it was not easy. It was not easy.
Yeah, I think that, but also what God has shown you and what you are experiencing. It was, you know, and I knew the beginning is always everybody's curious. So everybody comes and see, and so everybody start, everybody commit. But I think the toughest time, I will say, it was not in the beginning. It was right in the middle. I think our 5th year, for the first time. Because I know what God told me. And all this year, no matter what we went through, I'm always confident of what God told me. But the first time in my life, I think it was 2017, I considered quitting. Yeah, it was just bad. You go from 100 and some people, and you left with 15, but every other Sunday, two goes. So 15, you're going down, you're going down, you're going down, until we have services sometimes with 4 people. And so, and still you have to pay rent, you know, even though at that time we were subleasing, but you have to pay rent. You have to provide this, to provide that. And I just felt like maybe I didn't hear God right, you know. And so that was one of my most difficult time, and that's why she's my partner for life, because I was able just to just like the Wednesdays, like she took over for I think 4 months. I didn't even want to come there on Wednesday. And on Sunday, you know, I'll just come and preach. And I love preaching, so that one was kind of easy. I will come and just preach, and the power of God will eat. But it was just hard, you know. And so I think that was really rock bottom for me in the ministry, because I went through bad time, but I never felt like God has left me. But that one, it was like a voice telling me, God has left you. You know, maybe she was right. Maybe you didn't hear God right. And then God reminded me that it was 5 years in. And it was the same time that I abandoned in Raleigh, that we closed the church in Raleigh after 5 years. And I heard a voice telling me, you got to break that 5-year cycle.
Amen.
If you can go past the 5 years, things will get better. Sure enough. That year was the worst, but we went through it with my wife and some faithful people that were still with us. And we went through it. And then after the 6th year, that's why God provided. We miraculously found this building that we couldn't afford, even to get in, you know. With all the business requirement and all that, it was like 11,000 that we needed to put down, and we were like 10 members. You know, not even 10. I think 8 members,
Including yourselves.
including myself.
And out of those 8, there was like 5 teenagers.
But we the Yohan and them, and so but we signed the lease, and 11,000 showed up, you know, and we paid for it. And then every month God will miraculously provide for rent. And since we've been here, we have not struggled to pay rent. Yeah. So I felt like it was that cycle that needed to be broken, because I almost gave up again after 5 years. But as we went through it, and it's not just that, it's not just that, but everything that you're hearing. Pastor Jean-Marc is over. What did we tell you? Pastor Jean, all he knows is how to dress, but it's not this. You know, he's a preacher, but he can't shepherd. You know, and you started to wonder, is it true maybe what they're saying? And so that, and you always have people that bring you those news, and so you're like, God. You know, and people who left start criticizing, and so it was tough. It was tough. But passing that, it was like a learning lesson, and, you know, the rest is history. So that was the most difficult time of our ministry here to those 10 years of this church.
Okay, so what I heard was perseverance, basically.
And I'm glad we didn't give up.
Yeah.
Look at Deliance
Yeah.
today, and look at Tracy today. You know, we would have missed you guys. So thank God.
Yes.
Amen.
So now that you overcame and you passed that, in the 10 years that JGC has been around, can you name some of the most memorable moments you will never, ever, ever forget, you'll talk about for years to come, outside of like meeting me, you know, and stuff like that.
Be
Like
tough outside of that. I don't know what else.
you know, so Mamos Olympic can start first. What are some of the memorable moments at JGC in the last 10 years?
I think it will be the time where we lost our first building, because we started at a hotel, and then we were able to afford to get our own building, but then we lost it, you know. So that was the beginning of the crisis. And the landlord was nice enough to tell us, okay, I have a small room, you know, you guys can go there until everything, gets back to normal, and then you can get a bigger place. We're like, okay. So we went to visit the small room. It was a
Hallway,
Oh.
like a hallway, couloir. We used to call that.
yes, couloir. It sounds better in French. I don't know if it was 5 feet wide and 10 feet long. It was just crazy. But I'm telling you, the glory of God was surely in that place. We'll have services where, the presence of God was so strong. And for me, people can say, okay, that was the moment where, we thought you guys, it was over for you guys. But for me, it was the moment where God was telling us that I am with you. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. I just remember that's where we actually built even our praise team that a lot of people started inviting later on. We had, I was there with Pastor Geoffrey, and then 2 of his cousins came from Europe, and they were now playing keyboard. One was playing drum and guitar, bass, and then we start practicing. He learned how to play. He learned how to play right there. And we'll come and pray. It was just wonderful. The presence of God, for me during that season was awesome. It was awesome.
I don't know if I have one moment that I can't forget or that was memorable. I think I have so many. But if I have to pick one, I think it's the day we find this building. Yeah, it was such a leap of faith and such a comfort. And such a confirmation of the word that the glory of the latter house shall be greater than the glory of the former house.
Yes.
We even got better than what we lost, and just that. And I think the day I walked in here by myself after we signed the contract, we took the key, we left, and then I came back here by myself. I think I cried. Just the emotion of the faithfulness of God. Just look at God. Look at God. And I knew somewhere deep in my soul that because He made a way for us to have it,
Amen.
He will provide for it.
Yes.
And I had some calls and people, some people say, Pastor, you commit here, how are you going to pay it? And those are the people that weren't not even in the church, people that ran away when things were bad. But I just had this conviction because it was such a miracle and God has spoken about it before I go for it. So I went to look for this place by God's word that He confirmed by several people. And so just to be able to, it was like, we back. We back. God is with me because we couldn't possibly, get another building. And just I think that was a moment where I felt like we're back in business, and that like I said, I was crushing 2017, and then I was just being held, by a thread. But I think that moment when we got this building is when I came back. I'm like, devil, now come, Now I'm ready for you. Yeah. So I think it was a memorable moment.
Okay. All right. So before we get to the exciting part of our questions, my last question is, what are some of the struggles that you have to deal with when it comes to ministering like younger people?
As people.
Yeah.
Be honest.
Who, me first?
Yes.
You guys don't listen. Look at how you're laughing. Yes.
I'm the you guys.
Yes. Yeah. I think the struggle, it's because when you're young, you think that you know. You're sure about your conviction. You're sure about how you feel, you know. You're ready to describe your emotions, your thoughts, you know, what you see at the moment. But the reality is like, you don't have the experience, you know. You don't have the experience, and that's the struggle. Trying to convince somebody that what you're thinking right now, it's not, it will not lead you to anything, you know. How to convince somebody that, you know, believe again that you can do it, you know. That's the struggle, you know. That's the struggle, because what I always tell young people is, at the end of the day, you will come to the point where you realize that, okay, if I knew, you know, if I had listened. So I'm like, what do you want to waste 5 years before you get to that point? You know, trust this person that loves you. Trust this person, because, you know, the reason why we open up, and I like especially the way, you know, my husband mentors people, because he really opened up himself. He tells them about his story, his life experience. So it's not just to tell all the young people all those beautiful stories and experiences, but it's just to tell them that I did that, and this is what happened to me. So I'm here to tell you, I'm here to help you to do better, you know. But the struggle again is like, young people, you're having hard time to listen, you know, and trust us, you know. Trust the people who have experience. Trust the people who've been through what you are going through. You know, trust that what they are telling you is out of experience, because experience is very important. It's something that I learned here in America, you know, when even if you don't have a degree, but if you have experience, they will hire you. And that happened to me. You know, even the job that I have right now, you know, pay good money, but I don't have a degree in that area. But because of the experience that I was able to present to them, you know, I got an offer. I remember one time I was hired by a bank, you know, and one of my colleague who referred me told me, okay, if they call you for the offer, don't let them offer you less than this, you know. So I heard what she told me. And when they called me, I said no. I remember my husband was like, why you say no? You sure they're going to call you back? I'm like, yeah, they asked me if I was okay with the offer. And my friend told me if they don't give me more than this, I should say no, and they will call me back. And sure, they surely did call me back, you know. And when they call me back, they say, okay, we're ready to match your offer because of your experience. You know, that position was requesting a degree, but because of experience. So experience is very important. Experience is very, very important, because you have the knowledge, but you have the experience, you know, to help you bring the balance. So that's the struggle that we have with you people. But we still love you.
What can you say about that?
I think she said it so well. I think it's listening. Number one, because you guys think we're too old. Like we mess our life, you know, we miss our life now.
We don't understand.
Yeah, now we're trying to
Yeah.
stop you from, you know, living, enjoying life, and
Enjoyment.
we don't know what we're talking about. That was back then, but now things are different. You guys know better, so it's that. But I think to not repeat myself to not repeat what she has said. I think also to the years, I gotta give you this. We had to adjust and get the balance. How to help you with our experience, but without taking your youth away. Yes. Because young people, they have strength, they have a lot of energy, you know. And so we have to, not because me, like you see, club don't mean nothing, dancing don't mean nothing now. But I cannot expect you to be like me, because I've done that, and I'm at this age, I'm thinking about what am I going to leave to my children and so forth. So even though I'm trying to share my experience with you so you don't make the same mistake that I made, but I shouldn't take your youth away from you. And so I think finding that balance was hard in the beginning, but I think through the year, we have been able to help you guys, but without taking your youth away. You know, we have young people that aspire for a modeling. You know, the old us will say, nah, that's not a good field, that's not this, that. But the new us, we say, okay, but only if you can do it this way. Only if you can bring Christ there. Only if you can be the difference maker there. Because we also understand that in the last day, God will use more than the church building. He will use us as a church wherever we are planted. And so, yeah, it's that balance to try to get them really to listen to you and to trust you. You know, like one thing that she was about to say is like, but it's always, but I love him. But I love her. But you guys don't understand. But yeah, we understand that you think you love, but it's not really love. It's this, and this will fade away. You won't die about this, and life continues after this. You're not finished. You're not done. But it's just that. But I think, you know, having been there too, we know how it feels like. Yes. So it feels like life has ended. It feels like you will never love again. It feels like you will never get out of this shame again. But truth be told, after a while, you know, God is able to turn things around. So we also develop patience to be with you. But it's hard. It's hard because young people are just stubborn. And they think they are on top of the world and that nothing can bring them down. They think they are wise. No, but the pastor, I know what I'm doing. You know, I'm just going to do this and nothing is going to happen. Then, oops. But I didn't know, but I bet. No, but we were telling you by experience, because this when you do this, after a while, this will be the result. Yes. And you may be the exception, but the exception doesn't come around every day. So you are dealing with something where 98% of chance is this is what's going to happen, and only 2% that you may avoid that. Mm-hmm. And to be truth be told, we encounter some 2%, but it's rare. It's really rare. A few times, you know, they were right, I was wrong. But it's rare because the percentage is not balanced. It's 98 against 2. Yeah, so that's that.
Okay, just a quick question. I know we talked about the struggle. So what are some of the joys when it comes to ministering younger people? I know you guys have joys.
No, the joy is more than the pain. The joy is when finally they get it. When they succeed. You see me, often when they say thank you, it's not really the thank you, it's not really the acknowledgement, but it's when I see you get there. Yes. It's when I'm standing there and seeing one of my son or daughter walking the aisle, you know, with the man or the woman that I have peace with. I know she waited or he waited, and this, I'm sure that's the right thing. And seeing that smile, that joy, you know, and that those moments, seeing you land that great job that we've been praying for, that we've been telling you qualify for, you have what it takes, or seeing you graduate, you know, like I've seen some of you here graduate with 2 kids and 3 kids and marriage, or single mom, struggling but yet bringing a degree. I mean, I think that's the joy. That's the joy. And also, I think young people can be loyal. They can be loyal. It takes a time before you see the loyalty, because they are in the hype. But when they live long enough, I'm getting more loyalty of people that I helped 15, 20 years ago now. Yeah, because through the year now they see what I did. They see my presence. You know, we just had lunch with one in Congo when we were there. The whole time, and like I was even getting embarrassed. Like, let's talk about something else. Like, thank you for what you guys have done. My life will not be without you. I tell all my friends about this. I tell all my friends about that. That's my joy, to see that we have made a difference in the life of somebody. So yeah, you can't beat that joy.
Yeah. So on top of what he said, I would say the energy. I love the energy that young people have. You know, I remember back in the days I had that energy. But I love the energy. I love when young people want to do something, they will go for it. It's true that with the older generation, we get wisdom. But, you know, sometimes when you bring projects, they have to look at the left, the right, the back, the center. You know, everything needs to be calculated. But with young people, you just say, let's do this. And they're like, yeah, 1, 2, 3. let's go and do it. So I love the energy. On top of everything that he said, the energy, I just love it. Yeah.
They love our energy, guys. So keep it up.
Okay. I have a question that's probably you're not expecting. So you're in the car, and one of you is driving, whether it's Pastor or Maman Sandrine. And hopefully it's always you, Pastor, that drives. Hopefully.
I'm the chauffeur.
So which one of the two of you would talk your way out or attempt to talk your way out of a speeding ticket?
I believe me. Her, she'll get upset. She'll say, well, I don't understand why you was giving me a ticket. I don't understand. I did stop. I did stop. Yes, man, but you didn't make a full stop. I stopped. But me, I'll just like, I'm really sorry. And I cannot afford another ticket. I got too many bills. Like, you see, I'll joke around. I say, you see, look, those kids, I got to feed them. I'll come up with something. And it works most of the time.
He does?
Yeah, it worked a lot.
I would think Mama Sandrine, but I mean,
I think you're wrong.
Masanis is ready to fight.
I'm ready to fight.
Like, yeah, I'm going to go to the court. I'm going to go to court. You know, this is nonsense.
You know, funny story. I remember a long time ago, I think our first son was 5 years old. Yeah. And then the same thing, you know, I can't remember what they stopped us.
They were doing like weekend check for alcohol.
Yes. So we were driving a sister back to a place, and then they stopped us. So they were checking the car, and that day we didn't bring his car seat. But I think, what's the age again for the car seat before you go out of the car seat? It's 6 or 7. Basically, it was a year. We had to wait a year, but it was tall. It was very tall, and the car seat was getting short, like uncomfortable for him. And then I remember when the police stopped us, and they started talking to him. He's like, "Sir, can you put your window down?" And then he saw the little boy and started asking him questions. And then he was like, "Yeah, I need to feed him," you know, the same speech that he gives every day. So he started talking. He said, "Okay, sir, can you pull the window down and let me talk to the little boy?" He said, "Hey, boy, how are you?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. How old are you?" And then he was like, "I'm 5.
No, because you already coach him.
You coach
You
him.
say that if they ask you, say, I'm 6.
He coach him.
So when they ask you, how are you? I'm 6. Now that sister who was not there when I was coaching my son,
Was like,
no, Shada, you 5.
5.
I'm like, what's wrong with this girl?
And I was laughing. I was just there sitting laughing. And he was getting mad. I could see him getting mad at the sister.
I said, officer, don't pay attention. It's
He's
5.
And then Shaddai was like, "No.
Daddy say
I'm
6. No, Daddy say to say, if they ask me that I'm 6, even though I'm 5.
And then the police officer was like, "Okay, sir, I'm coming."
They wrote the ticket. But I remember that ticket being expunged because when I went to court, and the judge just looked at me and said, "Hey, do you have a car seat?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Go get it and come show me." I went all the way to the car, brought the car seat. He said, "Okay, your case is dismissed."
This is the highlight of the whole line. So you want
Yeah,
Pastor
that's
to
what
be in the
happened
car
when
with you.
Pastor tried to put the son into lie. You know.
Okay.
yeah, that was the highlight. So let's get to the exciting part, right? While we're here. So we are talking about our 10th year anniversary, right? So what do you remember about the very first Break Every Chain? We also talk about the Break Every Chain conference, by the way. But what do you remember the most?
Okay. First Break Every Chain was the organization, you know. I love the fact that even though it was our first conference with the small people that we had, but we were just organizing it as, you know, like the president of the United States was getting ready to come, you know, the way we plan everything, how to welcome our guests, you know, to our speakers, the way we were practicing, everything was just, excellent, and I like the fact that everybody was shooting for excellence. And yeah, so that was really the part that I really loved and enjoyed. Because sometimes when you organize small event or you are a small group of people, people have a tendency of just, telling you, do you really have to do this way? It's just a small group of people. Because I think when we organized the first one, we had about, I don't even know if we had, beside the praise team, maybe 6 people and 4 ushers. It was not a large group of people, but the meetings that we had were serious. The organization was serious. So I like the fact that since the beginning, we always try to give God the best. So, yeah.
I think me, I'll go a little deeper. It's the whole origin of Break Every Chain. I think I said that a few times, but it was a very dark time for our marriage. We were going through just misunderstanding after misunderstanding, and just I don't know if it was the tension due to going back to the ministry, and I used to be very stubborn too, very, and so I think it was during that time really, and one of the few times, like we told you, we looked like the perfect couple. We almost are, but we had trouble like every couple, and it's really one of the time where, like we question our marriage, like do we really continue? Do we really? But the good thing I always tell people is that God is the foundation of our marriage. So we spend time in prayer, and my prophetess, she's really good, the one who got the message. One morning she woke up and said, "Look at what God showed me in the night." He said that we have to be the conference every year, gather the people, and call it Break Every Chain, because He wants to break the chains in people's life. And I know it's what always God has called me to do. And He really attested with my spirit that this was coming from God. And like she said, we organized it in less than a 2 month.
Yes, I think the first one,
The
about
first
2
one,
to 3
yeah,
months.
we just heard from God, and we start planning it. We put in a date, and we wanted it to be during the church anniversary period. And so we just put in the date, and we organize it. And through the testimonies, God has really just been doing that. Every break, every chain, people are loosed, people are delivered, we charge, we focus, we calibrated, and so to obey God, just to know that it was a mandate from God. And no matter how some years we may be financially tight, but God always provide. To provide in the way that we do it for excellence, that in the way that we organize it good, big, and our guest speaker always go with a smile.
That's true.
Okay, so Break Every Chain conference. So we're seeing the flyers, we're seeing the videos, we're seeing the tickets, we're seeing everything. Most churches don't do a gala for an anniversary. Why is it that JGC is doing a gala, and what are some of the things that people can expect to see in the gala, with the conference, and everything like that?
I'll answer the why the gala, and I'll later talk about what to expect. I think it goes back to what we said earlier. We pastor a younger generation, and we also have to give them opportunity, because a lot of you have sacrificed. Either you don't club as you used to club, or you club less. Some of you don't club at all, and I don't know who started it in this church, but this church loves fashion, love class, and love all of that. And we only have church to really, and weddings, to really express our spirituality through style, you know. and so we wanted to create. We already do the gala for the church every year now on the 31st, and so by this one we just wanted to go presidential and just thank God and give an opportunity for us also to get together, to have fun together, and to look good, because we are not even presidential, we are royal, we are a royal
Yes, we
priesthood,
are.
and so sometimes we have to express ourselves that way. And also show the young people that, hey, don't be fooled because we speak in tongue and roll on the floor. We know how to, yes. So that's one of the reasons.
So what to expect?
From Glorious Design.
Okay, from Glorious Design, it's gonna be glorious, of course. It's gonna be glorious. So before I even continue, I want to tell those who don't have their ticket, we only have like about 20 tickets left. So first come, first serve. So we're gonna get about 150 people. So it's gonna be a great event. I wish we could do more than that. But this year we told ourselves we're gonna start with about 150 guests. So what to expect? So we're gonna start with a wonderful cocktail time, and you know, I don't want to share everything because there's a lot of surprises. I just pray that those who don't have VIP ticket will not be sad because we have prepared something great for our VIPs. As you know, we've been selling VIP tickets. We
And-
sold out.
Yep. There's no more VIP, guys.
No more
so-
VIPs. And so the decoration, of course, will be glorious. Like I said, we're going to have a red carpet. We're going to have some Christian jazz music. A lot of testimonies. And also one thing that we're going to do is to, like you say, recognize, all those people who've been there, especially who've been there in the beginning, who believed in us when we didn't have what we have today, because it's sad, but the reality is like people will value you according to what they see. Now that we have a building, people see us every month, in this building, they're like, okay, they made it. It's easy for them to pay, but the rent. But we had people who believed in us when we didn't have all those things. So we want to honor those people. We want to honor those partners, people who gave their money, people who gave their time, people who gave their talent. We had people who pray. We had retreats. Back in the days, we still had some physical strength, so we were going into retreat after retreat. We want to recognize those people who served as usher for the first time, people who played a drum, the first time, the first drummer that we had, the first keyboard player, the first, all those faithful members. So we want to recognize them, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Like the Bible said that we should rejoice with those who rejoice. So let's be there with all those people and just celebrate God for 10 years. A lot of churches have closed their doors, especially during the COVID time. Everybody was struggling, but look at us. We find this place during that season. Even when it was hard, we were asking ourselves, Father, you gave us this place, and look at now, COVID is just destroying people's life. How are we going to pay the rent? But during that season, even when we're going live, God was still providing. So we want to celebrate God. So it's going to be a celebration day. So you don't want to miss it. 4:30. Let's be there at 4:30 because you don't even want to miss the cocktail. Yes.
Yep. You heard them. You do not want to miss it. Make sure you get your tickets on Eventbrite, or you can find one of our anybody really here. You can ask if you have any questions. Just leave it in the comment, like I said at the beginning. So this is for Pastor Jean-Marc. can you open up the invitation to invite those people who are still not too sure about the Break Every Chain and also the gala?
Yes, definitely. I really want to invite anyone who would like to come celebrate with us, especially during the conference first, because God has really spoken to us that the 10 years has passed. It's a decade, and there is a new one that is starting.
Amen.
And so there is directions, there is provisions, and all those things that God will give us. And if those who know God, whenever you pray, whenever He has something for you, He will always come in the form of a word.
Yes.
And so we have an excellent preacher, an excellent teacher. I'm a preacher myself, and I think I can hang with some of the best of them, but I respect this orator that is coming. I like to listen to him. Like I don't blink. I don't even want to go to the office, get my glasses. When he start, I want to listen to him from the beginning to the end, because he always go places that you could not imagine. But beyond his gift and talent, I am more excited because I know we have prayed. I know we are expecting. 10 years have passed, and God is saying the next 10 years will be glorious.
Amen.
The next 10 years will be the years where we enter our promised land, where we manifest the promises of God in our lives. And so we want to hear instructions from God. And so that's why I am excited that God will use him as a channel. So come Friday, come Saturday to hear the word, and then let's just celebrate on the gala day. And I also want to say this: if this church, this ministry, Pastor Sandrine and myself, have ever been any blessing to you in any kind of way, to a life that you watch, to a crisis, to whatever it is, this will be a good way for you to come and just celebrate with us. Let us know that you value us. Encourage us that we are people that love this ministry, that we are making a difference in this city. All right. And also, I'm gonna improvise this. If you have a testimony that's of something that happened in this church, please reach out to our one of our social media platform, Instagram or Facebook. We'll give you the information how you can send a video of your testimony, and so that you can just testify what this church or any leader of this church, any member of this church has been a blessing to you. We would like to hear that. Often I meet people that tell me, but I really want you to make a video and send us. If we get it by Wednesday, we will be able to post it. But this will really mean a lot to us to know, are we really doing the work of God? Are we really touching lives beyond the four walls of the church? But please, we invite you. You will not be disappointed. Come. We never disappoint, because if there is one address, and we say this humbly, if there is one address in this city, or one of the address in this city where the Spirit of God truly resides, this is one of them. Not the only one, but this is one of the address. You cannot come here and not encounter God, not to encounter the Spirit of God. And I promise you, even during the gala, we don't party without Jesus. We take him everywhere. Even during our gala, people get saved, people get delivered, people get transformed. And so don't get me started. Get one of those 20 tickets that are left and come and let us celebrate 10 years of victory with Jesus.
Amen.
Was that good enough for you?
That was
Yes.
amazing.
Okay, good.
I felt like you were preaching.
I know, right? I'm like,
I was
don't
like,
get started. Bring it back. It is 8:25. So you guys heard it. So we have our Break Every Chain conference happening this week. This weekend. Yes, sorry guys. I'm getting excited. So July 21st at 6:30, we are meeting here at Joshua Generation Church. July 22nd at 6:30 as well, we are meeting here for the Break Every Chain conference. And then on Sunday, you come in your presidential attire. Your hair is looking amazing. You're smelling amazing. We need to smell you from the outside. We need to smell you from the car. We need to smell you from, I don't know, don't just look good, but smell good too. And then, come with your smile, come expecting, because even as we're partying, like he said, we don't leave Jesus at the door. No. He comes in and he's with us. And we hope that you come. And like he said, if you have a testimony, we have Facebook, we have Instagram. If you know somebody that's in the admin, you can reach out to somebody there. Send us your video so that we can also portray it on there. And Deliance, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
All I can say is just come. They said it all, just come, okay? So thank you, Pastor Jean-Marc. Thank you, Pastor Sandrine, for being with us.
Yes,
Can I add something quickly?
Of course.
And I know sometimes people think we carnal. And I just want to tell you, when we say come dressed up, come look nice, we don't compete. It's just our way of expressing the love of God, the talent of God. So it's not about competition. We don't show off. I'm just trying to help the people from the outside. Here we know that. We like to compliment one another. We just enjoy one another. And so it's not for competition. It's not for a show. It's just us expressing the goodness of God through fashion. And to preaching and to different things. So come and style and let's just us celebrate God. Amen. I just wanted to add that.
Amen. And we will see you on Friday. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.